The South girls get a first half strike from Mackenzie Hupp to record a 1-0 win at Riverside on Monday night in a Division I sectional semifinal. Given the quality that the Rebels showed in the attack for stretches of this match, I think 2-0 would have been a fairer reflection of the match, but it's the postseason. You got to take what you get. The Rebels were able to get a first half goal there and see out the result, survive and advance, and that's what matters this time of year, to be sure. South, I think, had better creativity, better stretches of combination work through midfield. The Beavers had a tough time really in the opening 40 closing down Hupp. Hupp was a problem into the offensive third in this match as a center mid, and she was able to provide the separation there, getting dividends out of what I thought was a well-played 80 from her in this match. When you have a couple of freshman goalkeepers, the reality is this time of year, you got to test their positioning. You got to test their flexibility, and you got to take cracks from distance. Hupp saw an opening there, took a strike upper 90 and put it away, and that's what you need to do. You need that ambition this time of year. And with Riverside, it's tough because you come in with 5 wins on the year, and they were showing some interesting sequences from time to time in the attack. I would have liked to have seen them get Amy Kokel more involved wide right. I thought she showed some promise with her pace and with her touches there in the opening 40. Not as much there in the second half. My overall problem with the Beavers in this match was I didn't think they played with enough pace through midfield. And the issue there is when you play with that much patience to that extent when you're possessing through midfield, I think it makes it a little bit easier for the opposition to get their ball winning down, to close down, and get the attack going the other way. And that's what South was able to do. The ball winning was pretty good in part because of the pace with which the Beavers played in this match. I would have liked to have seen it a little bit quicker, but it wasn't, and that's what happens. You have a fairly young side here, and sometimes you have to play that way. They had a good chance there toward the end of the match, Veronica Barron, to get that equalizer, but Sarah Terniski, the South freshman goalkeeper, came up with a nice save on a bender there to keep it 1-0. But, good for South. They came into this match with 3 wins on the year, struggled for large stretches in Western Reserve Conference play. Obviously a tough conference there with the way that Mayfield's been playing, with the way that Madison's been playing. So, good for them to go and get a postseason result. Nobody knows the value of a postseason result, just getting 1 win and trying to push it forward like South coach Sherry Pauletto does. Sherry was an outstanding striker in her high school days for North, was a 2-time All-Ohioan. That was early in my News-Herald tenure. I remember those days very well. And her junior year, North is the 1 seed in the district that year. They get into a sectional final. Mentor jumps on them in a sectional final and beats them on PKs. They had ambitions for a deep postseason run that year, and it didn't happen. So if anybody understands the value of just getting 1 postseason win, it's definitely Sherry, and as a coach, I'm sure it's thrilling for her to see her side get 1 here. It's going to be a tough match on Thursday against Madison. That's just the reality of it. The form the Blue Streaks have been on all year with that quality in the attack, with Allie Franian, Alyssa Carruthers, and Michaela Askew. That's a tough task there for the Rebels, but they're able to move on. A lot of teams aren't going to be able to, and hey, after a 3-win regular season, the South definitely deserves this. A hard-fought 1-0 win at Riverside on Monday.